Hello, fellow Hive members. I hope that you've been enjoying the Mary Magdalene piece that I sent out as your Artist of the Month for this month. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Kristen Wheeler. You can find out all about me, see my website and all my information on the emails that have been sent out so far this week. Part of what I'm going to do over the next month is once a week I'm going to create a video for you. So I'm really putting myself out there with that because I'm not used to doing videos. It's kind of not my thing. Zoom has been the videos that I've been doing, and I turn it off often. So yeah, that's where we're at. But I did my hair and makeup for y'all and got presentable and sitting here in front of my bookshelf. Just one of my bookshelves. I actually have a whole library of books, but this is all just books on the saints. So this video for this week, since we're kind of studying the history of Mary Magdalene, I thought I would take an excerpt from a class that I teach. I do a series of classes on iconography, and one of the classes is on Hagiography. And I'm going to explain that a little bit here in a minute. I'm going to have some slides that are going to show through the video as well, so that'll kind of help you along the way. But first of all, we're going to start with a prayer. This is a prayer by Catherine of Siena. Eternal God, eternal Trinity, you have made the blood of Christ so precious through his sharing in your divine nature. You are a mystery as deep as the sea. The more I search, the more I find, and the more I find, the more I search for you. But I can never be satisfied. What I receive will ever leave me desiring more. When you fill my soul, I have an ever greater hunger, and I grow more famished for your light. I desire, above all, to see you, the true light, as you really are. Amen. And if you want to learn more about Catherine of Siena, you can actually go to my website, moderniconographer.com. You can also follow me on Facebook and search for her picture. I share it on there, as well as Instagram. So I try to share as much of their story as I can. And I'm also a writer, so it's all my own written words after studying. So what we're going to talk about today again is hagiography. I'm going to tell you how I personally study the saints before I write their icons. So this goes for Mary Magdalene as well. And I thought I'd pass on this information to maybe help you study Mary over the course of the rest of Lent, or if you have any other saints that come up for you, and this is maybe some tools you can use on how to study them as well. So this is also from my class. So what is hagiography? Visualizing holiness. If iconography is visual, then hagiography is literary. We're talking about the writing and the studying of saints. So writing about their stories, learning about them, studying their history and their lives, where they came from, what was going on in the world at that time that they were alive. So what's come before us? How can we build on the history of Christian authors to use reading and/or writing to grow our faith? So this is just something to process and think about as you're researching. And then now we're going to go into the steps that I take personally for studying and writing the saints. So you can take with this what you will, but this is just my personal process. The first thing I do is research. I look up the very basic, easy to find information on the saints. When did they live? Where did they live? What are they famous for? Are they famous for miracles? Are they famous for martyrdom? Are they famous for both? Did they write or paint or depict anything? What does everybody know Mary Magdalene for? What does everybody know Augustine of Hippo for? What does everyone know Catherine of Siena for? Just kind of the basic, very, very simplified version of their story. That's what I'm looking for, the very first thing. So I kind of just touch on all the little topics that are associated with them, and then I can delve deeper after that. So after I've done that basic research, then I read. Did they write a book themselves? Who has written about them? What books and articles are available to me? So the first thing you can do is a Google search. I'm also an avid reader, so I'm on Audible and Kindle. I love actual paper books in my hand as well. So you can decide, how you best read and take in that information and kind of go from there. The next thing I do is watch. I watch documentaries, I look on YouTube and streaming services and find anything that I can about the saints. Now, there is a lot of information out there that a lot of people think that they are the authority on. The first thing I will tell anybody is I am no authority or expert on any of this subject. I'm just sharing what I've learned to hopefully help you along the way. So just keep that in mind, especially when you're looking on YouTube where you've got more kind of everyday people. Take everything with a grain of salt. If you feel the need to, you could research what they've done in the past, like how reliable what they're saying is, and take in your own information in that way. But it is a really good resource for information. And then after I'm watching documentaries and YouTube videos and streaming services and movies, anything I can find, I research again, because now I've got more in-depth information. So now I can take that and do additional research and find out what I need to look for. So what was life like when they lived? For instance, when I studied Joan of Arc, I also studied the Middle Ages and the time that she was alive in France, and what was going on at that time politically, what was going on in the time as far as pandemics are concerned. There's a plague kind of going on, that's a big part of it too, and that will help you take in their information. And even if they were a more modern saint like Therese of Lisieux, you can find out what was going on at that time, what was going on in France in the late 1800s. So you can find out a little bit more in depth what's going on with them and their story. The next thing I do is listen. So I'll listen to audiobooks, personal stories that people have maybe relating to the saints, like if they've had visions or dreams or anything that they feel close to the saint about. And if there's any music that I can listen to that's either associated with them, like Hildegard von Bingen, or any music that I can listen to that will help me relax as I'm writing their icon. This helps me dig deeper into their character. You can speak directly to the saint. Who are you really? What are you trying to tell me? What is going on in my life right now that I'm drawn to you? What message do you have for me? And then I write. After I've actually written the icon, because we call it writing an icon, that's something I'll cover later. But the actual physical painting of the icon is finished, and then I write and type. I type out any notes that I've taken along the way as I've studied them, anything I learned about them even while I was writing their icon, and I write their hagiography. Now that their icon is finished, with my paintbrush and ink, using my intuition, what personal information can I include about the saint with their image that is important for others to know and that I'm called to share? So with all of that said, what would your process look like? How best do you like to learn and take in information? What's your learning style? Do you like to see things, experience it? Do you like to hear things? Do you like to touch things? So this might help you in deciding what's best to take in the information that you're wanting to learn about the saint, whether that's Mary Magdalene or anyone else. Step 2, how will you use the resources we have access to today to learn more about the holy figures of our history? We have access to Google and the internet, of course, so you can pretty much find anything, but just be careful of your resources. Step 3, this is more than a research paper. You have to use your intuition and your conscience and marry that with facts. What is your saint speaking to you directly? And are you listening? Now let's take a moment to reflect. I invite you to create your own study space to learn about and venerate the holy figures. Listen to what they are telling you and what God is showing you. Do you have an altar space at home? Do you have like a library that you like to sit in? Do you have a quiet space? I have a front porch here that I love. It's just a nice big kind of quiet space and lots of trees, you know, around us, and the breeze coming through, and surrounded by my plants, a good place to pray. So what kind of space do you need to reflect on all this information that you've studied, that you've processed? Whether you actually want to write about the saint, whether that's Mary Magdalene or someone else, or whether you just want to take in the information and read other people's hagiographies. Thank y'all for joining me. I hope this was helpful in just learning a little bit about what hagiography is and how you can use these resources to study Mary Magdalene further. Again, with the suggestions that I have in that PDF file that you've all received. Just kind of giving you, I didn't want to give you too much information because I really want you to go and discover things on your own as well and make your own interpretations, because there's a lot of misinformation out there, and there's a lot of information about Mary Magdalene that can go take you any kind of direction, and this is really all kind of your personal take on it and how you use that information to study and learn about the saints. So I hope to see you next time, and I hope that you're enjoying it so far. I would love to hear from you if you have any thoughts or suggestions, anything that you would like to share. You know, join us on the Facebook group. Feel free to send me an email. Feel free to friend me on Facebook as well. I'd love to hear from you, and follow me on Instagram. Again, the website is moderniconographer.com, and my personal website, you can actually go to KristenAnnWheeler.com, and that's KristenAnnWheeler.com. And I have a contact form and everything on there. You can read all about me. You can see all my artwork and photography, and send me a message from there. So I really hope to hear from you. I really hope you're enjoying everything so far, and I'll see you in the video next week. Not used to having my hair down. Used to having it up, having sweatpants on.